until this recent federal intrusion into Montana politics, until our own county attorney's attack on local democracy, until the bigoted public testimony of our chief of police. We allow them into all. So what now? What can we do? We must stay involved. We must stay informed. Write letters to your local newspapers. Call the radio call-in shows. Talk to your neighbors and register to vote. But most importantly of all, we must come out. We must come out of the shadows, out of the back rooms and out of the alleys. We must tell our families, we must tell our employers, we must tell everybody, I am a cannabis consumer. Woo! Yeah! This year,
I believe that there is people within the federal government, within the DEA and the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office, which are acting basically on their own authority. They're old-time bureaucrats or whatever, or they're Republicans or whatever, but they're not really acceding to Eric Holder, the Attorney General's authority, or President Obama's authority in the matter, and which is evidenced by the two recent released memos. One from January 2009 and one from February 2011. Now, the other thing is that I believe that without a doubt that these rogue agents, rogue federal officials who are disregarding what Eric Holder said here in Missoula at the university just in February about the fact of the low prioritizing concerning medical marijuana cases. They ignored that. Now, that's a problem for President Obama, that's a problem for Attorney General Holder, and it's a problem for people who believe in states' rights.
When you said they ignored that, can you just give a brief description of the action that was taken by the DEA and the feds here in the state of Montana recently that proves that they ignored that?
Well, they issued a memo, which apparently in February out of California, which includes all of the Ninth Circuit federal district, and it said that they're going to target medical marijuana individuals like myself, organizations, caregivers, literally the entire list. Now, that is directly opposite to, and then there was a very high priority. They didn't say that exactly, but that's indicated by the memos. Whereas Holder and Obama both have issued statements concerning deprioritizing marijuana, and recently the Attorney General issued a statement through the VA that veterans like myself, our disabilities and all of that are not going to be in jeopardy, our health, all of that, our benefits are not going to be in jeopardy in the states where they have authorized medical marijuana, which I'm one of those. So basically, unless President Obama and U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder were seeking to entrap people like me, a veteran, and or other people who are medical marijuana patients, then by making these statements, why they're not going to be prosecuting, and then having these others, these rogue, I believe these rogue people, were in cahoots with probably congressional person, what's his name, Rehberg, Milburn from the House Legislature. You look at it, the raids came on the very day that the Senate was going to, supposedly Montana was going to come out of committee with a repeal bill. That didn't happen, but nevertheless, that's still, they did it. And who did they target? Think about who they targeted. The people that they targeted were people connected with the very people who have been our foremost spokespeople concerning medical marijuana. People like Tom Dobert and Chris Lindsay, who's an attorney, and these people were connected in some way or another with the people who were busted over in Helena like this.
Today we've taken that first step. Today we've taken it to the streets. Today we've said no more. Thank you all so much for being here. And again, my name is Doug Chiat. Like you folks, I refuse to be a casualty of this failed war on drugs. Yeah.
The streets! We're going to take it to the courthouse! Stay on the sidewalk!
You go up the stairs.
Of another drug war widow. We will no longer watch another child grow up an orphan of failed social policy. The war on weed ends today.
o'clock. You know that, right?
Sounds good.
Go away! DEA! Go away!
DEA! Go away! DEA! Go away! DEA! Go away! DEA! Go away! DEA! Go away! DEA! Go away! DEA! Go away!
DEA! Go away! DEA! Do not stay!
DEA!
Go away!
Be real Americans! Stand up!
This is Timothy Herman reporting for FM Images and Cannabis Common Sense in Missoula, Montana. We are here today on Saturday, March 19th, and we're in front of the Missoula County Courthouse here on Broadway. And the action here has been a rally to protest raids that the federal government in the form of the DEA pulled on many cannabis caregivers in the state of Montana, and come in and run roughshod over Montana state medical marijuana law in order to try and influence the Montana state legislature, as it is that these federal raids just so happen to happen on the day of the legislative hearing where the Montana legislators have been considering the repeal of the medical marijuana law here. The citizens of Missoula, especially here today, have let it be known in no uncertain terms that they're a little unhappy with their federal government and their intrusion into states' rights, and that they're just really not going to tolerate it. And they're sending a signal out to their own state legislator that politicians beware, that if you want to stay in your comfortable, cush little seat down there in Helena, that you need to pay attention to your constituents. And your constituents are a little bit unhappy with the feds running roughshod over your Montana state law. So this is Timothy Herman reporting again for FM Images and Cannabis Common Sense on Broadway in front of the courthouse in Missoula, Montana, Saturday, March 19th. Thank you.
When we do things every day, when you purchase food somewhere, you vote on what kind of food is acceptable in our culture. And when you went out and got your medical cannabis card, even though some of you were afraid because your name was going to be on the list, it was important that you did that. For cannabis, it is important that you renew your cards. I keep hearing people say they're not going to renew because they're afraid, because federal raids are coming into Montana. But when we have numbers like 30,000 people in Montana, those numbers matter. Those are votes. Those are people that are saying, I stand up for cannabis. To not renew is not doing your part. It means that you are willing to go back to the black market. That is not where we are supposed to be at. That is not what we have been fighting for since 2004. Black market. Support your caregivers. Support your growers. Their asses are on the line for you. Do not stop renewing your card. There is a reason that we did this. We're in this for the good fight. We're in this to be peaceful citizens. They can monitor us. They can find out what strains we're smoking and how much we're smoking. That's not a lie. The truth will set you free. I'm an herbalist. I believe in plant therapies. I don't want to see more people addicted to opiates. Pharmaceutical companies. Nobody is dying because of cannabis. No one. There are a lot of reasons that it works for a lot of people, and right now they're trying to slim out of fear. That is why they are sweeping in and doing what they are doing. It is fear-based, and it's mongering, and it's not okay. The level of hypocrisy that we are facing from our federal government right now is not okay. It is not okay that they are growing cannabis at their university and supplying it to people while imprisoning people on a state and local level for doing the same thing. Stand united. This is your community. You have people here. Not everybody here may be a cannabis user. You might have a grandmother. You might have a best friend. You might have a lover. You might have a child that needs cannabis for whatever reason that their doctor has deemed reasonable. No plant should be ever left behind, ever. Not a single one. Those are our gifts from this world to us, and we do not even have full understanding of any of the constituents, the full range of constituents of any plants, because we're silly humans with little tiny testing devices and laboratories. We don't understand all the constituents in plants, and we might not before this whole world is gone, but we know it because we feel it. We know it because we use it and have a personal relationship. Stand tall, stand divided. Thank you guys for being here. It means a lot. Yeah.